I'm Diane Disney Miller, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Walt Disney Family Museum in the historic Presidio of San Francisco, California. The Walt Disney Family Museum celebrates the life and work of my father, Walt Disney, and introduces you to many of the talented people who worked with him. The story is told in his voice and that of his brother Roy, his lifelong partner, and by many others who knew him and worked with him.
The Walt Disney Family Foundation produced this museum. My mom was the creative force behind all this.
When my dad died, we had some things of his, and they were put in storage. All these awards he gained been given through his life. He had a collection of miniatures that he had kept in his studio office, bought it all over the world in his travels. And his train that ran around our yard. My daughters went into the storeroom one day and they came home, and Joanna said, "Mom, the Oscars are all in shoe boxes wrapped in newspaper in this warehouse. We've got to do something with them." And so we decided we'd build some cases, and we had quite a magnificent display.
That's kind of where we started.
This is Gallery 1 of our Walt Disney Family Museum. This is the beginning of my dad's life. He was born in Chicago in the very beginning of the 20th century.
The museum tells the story of Walt's personal life, and that includes his humble beginnings. It also covers his professional life and the rise of the Walt Disney Company. Really, we're able to tell the story of the history of animation in the 20th century, because every major milestone in animation, Walt was the one that made it happen.
In the very beginning, we had no animation art, nothing.
There weren't a lot of examples of original animation art in the collection because Walt never took those things home with him. So the family began a really arduous process of collecting what you see here in the museum.
We had to acquire everything, and we had to have it to make this museum what it's supposed to be, and we are still acquiring it.
We have a beautiful theater here, so we run classics.
And a wonderful place for musical performances.
I mean, it's so important to get children into this museum, and so we're starting a learning center down here.
Walt was so important to culture in the 20th century. So it's really gratifying to be able to make all of these objects and photographs and works of art come alive.
What my grandpa was most proud of with his studio is putting together a great team of people that helped him bring his ideas and his vision to reality. And I think this museum is a great collaboration of very talented and creative men and women. I think everyone realized in our team that dealing with the name Walt Disney, that this museum had to be high-tech, it had to tell a great story, because that's what my grandpa was a great storyteller.
People really didn't know what kind of a man he was, but the true story was a beautiful, interesting story, and a very inspirational one, and they're getting to know the man. And I hope, being inspired. You know, his example was do what you love to do, work hard at it, do it as well as you can, and always believe in yourself.